I am. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good. Yeah. Thanks for having me at the board meeting tonight. I don't have any updates for on-call engineering this month. It sounds like potentially there's something in the mix, Jesse, based on some emails, but we can talk likely about that at the next meeting. In terms of the water improvements projects and progress there, so the Farragut State Park and Navy water lines are complete. They've been pressure tested, back T tested, and all that's left there is to make the pressure connections once some of the well work has been done. So that's, Riviera made really fast progress with that. It was good to see those put in, like literally before the beginning of May, we were done with that work. So that went well. The work on the Drumore booster stations continued. They've poured the building foundation, the building floor, have the retaining wall foundation set. They're looking to pour that on Monday. All of the underground piping is set. The pump pads are ready. So they've been, moving per schedule, I would say, on the booster station. Probably not behind, not ahead. Just diligently working through that. East Cape Horn Road, if the board is familiar with this work, has been complicated, for lack of a better term. There's a lot of utilities in the roadway. There's a narrow roadway. It's a narrow right-of-way. It's a Lakes Highway District managed road. You can't put the water line in the road. It has to be in the shoulder, which limits where it can go. There's a pressure sewer main, which requires 10 feet of separation per DEQ. Some of the challenges that we've been encountering on this are all of our design is based on locates and as-builts that were provided by the owner. And the construction has revealed that, some of the as-builts really aren't all that accurate. And some of the, locates that have it's been difficult to locate these lines. So fortunately, this has still been able to progress. The first section of line is almost done on East Cape Horn Road from Lime Kiln Road to the private drive where we're tying in the booster station. I just want to point out that this has required a lot of additional effort from Bob for sure, and then from us. We've had several instances where we've literally had to drop everything we're doing because we have the contractor out there that needs direction. And if they have to remobilize to a different portion of the site, it's going to cost a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So I just want to point that out. I mean, good news is despite all of these complications and challenges for that section of line, it's in the ground for the most part, which is great. We did break a water line. That was unfortunate, but given honestly some of the difficulties with the locates, it's not a surprise. So thanks for being patient. I mean, we're sorry that happened, and I think people have been responsive on this, and we've been able to work as a team and get through some of these challenges. It's just taken a little bit more effort on our part than we anticipated. That's probably the bulk of my update. I think in terms of paperwork, we have a couple work change directives that are out there. The pay application 2 has been submitted for April work. Jesse's been working through that with DEQ.
Yeah, I just got because obviously we don't have the funds to cover the first pay application initially here in the district. So I have to submit it all to DEQ, wait to get that, deposit it, and then I can pay it. So I got that today, deposited it into the bank account. And so Sean will be signing that first pay application check today, and I will have it in the mail tomorrow morning. So
okay. I'm going to make a note, Jesse, to make Riviera aware of that, because I'm sure, they've been working for a couple months now, and I'm sure that they're really wondering where that's at. I mean, they've prodded us on a few things, but at the same time, like, they've been very patient on this. I've had contractors, when they don't get paid, literally call me like every day.
Yeah.
So
that first initial check is in the mail tomorrow. So
good. Okay. I'll let them know that for certain. I think the other update that I might not have hit on is, so we have two sections of water line on East Cape Horn Road. We have the one that I just talked about that's from Lime Kiln to the private drive. And then we have a section that's further to the east up towards the Dromore tank. So this is a good example of when I say we've had some complications with where stuff has been located, the as-builts. The as-builts show your pressure sewer line in the center of the road. When the contractor potholed out there, they found it over in the road shoulder where the water line's supposed to go. Which is completely different. And for all it sounds like Bob was actually locating a abandoned Avista power line that's in the middle of the road, thinking it's the sewer, because that's what the
yeah, that's right. They didn't locate it, so it's kind of like, I think this has got to be our sewer because it's plan shows in the middle of the road.
So our whole design is based on putting that water line over in the shoulder. Our approach on this, we reviewed it in the field. We've looked at the potholes with the contractor and with Bob, and we have La Riviere. We've given them a work change directive to get someone out there with ground penetrating radar to locate the water and sewer up on that section. We'll see where those sit, and then this is going to require a redesign to get that section of water line in. And it's probably going to almost certain, based on what I've seen, it's going to likely require putting the water line into the roadway, which will mean some coordination with Lakes Highway District. I'm hopeful that they'll be supportive on that in terms of benefit to the community. And, we're putting in a booster station to get fire flow, to get pressure to these areas. If we don't put in this section of line, it's a reduced cost. I'm not giving up on the potential to put it over into the shoulder. It's just we have to meet 10 feet of separation from that pressure sewer main, and you only have so much distance till you hit your right-of-way line. So
Ben, I want to add to that. Ground penetrating radar is 100%. It'll give us another tool to give us an indication of where it is, because there's so much groundwater up there also. We may find that it's hard to differentiate, so maybe more potholing. In other words, I see that as one more tool to differentiate, and especially find things that maybe the other utilities are not willing to locate if they're old and abandoned lines.
Yep. I think it'll at least, we have some potholing data to help confirm that though. So, and then we can have it potholed again once it's out there. But next step on that is to get that relocated with the radar, do a field visit, see how things are laying. Based on that, if we need to put the water line in the road, begin engaging Lakes Highway District. If they're supportive of it, we would have an amendment for a design revision on that sheet. We would redraw it in the new location, make sure we get DEQ separation. DEQ would probably want to look at that because this is a redesign, make sure we get their approval from a human health standpoint, and then we go to construction. Hopefully La Riviere is still okay with using their bid pricing for the water line install, but it's likely going to require some roadway work and additional costs. So I don't want to sugarcoat it. Like, it's just one of those things that came up, and I think everyone's doing the best they can, but it's going to come at a higher cost than was originally anticipated.
Ben, I think one other thing to mention too, with regards to Lakes Highway District, it's not just patching in the middle of the road. They will likely require a full patch all the way across the road for whatever length it is if we're going down the middle.
Yeah, it's possible to do just one lane or half the roadway, Bob, but I think what's going to happen with that particular section of roadway is it's all in high groundwater.
Yeah.
And so the roadway is completely falling apart. As soon as we touch it and try to dig a water line into it, it's going to crumble. You drive an excavator on it, it's going to likely deteriorate. So I think you're right, Bob. We would likely safely assume that that roadway will need to be paved back, and that'll also use it as a selling point to Lakes, saying like, hey, you guys are going to get a new roadway, so, you know, you're getting something out of the deal too, right?
How many feet are we talking about? Ben, how many feet are we talking about?
It's 690.
That's all VST road now, right? It's not asphalt pavement.
Yeah.
It's a chip seals on top of chip seals.
Yeah.
That's my recollection, but
Then the question is it chip seal on chip seal, or is it something else? You know,
I don't know. No. It's paved roadway. It probably has had chip seal put on it before. It would need to be put back as paved highway per Lakes Highway District standards, if that helps answer the question.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben. Hey, Ben, while we're thinking about that, the other thing in my report I brought up was the meter in Farragut State Park, and it's going to go in a different location. Do you want to address that at all with the board and where we're at on the status?
Yeah, so we've submitted the work change directive for that. We have pricing. La Riviera is getting the parts. Bob has the flow meter, or the owner has the flow meter. So we're all set to install that. It's just the pipe crew is up working on Cape Horn Road for the next couple weeks minimum, so they probably won't get around to installing that because they have to remob to the other part of the site. They probably won't get around to installing that until they come back to make the pressure connections in Farragut.
Okay.
So